Hey everyone, welcome back to Raw Thoughts from A. Today, we're diving into something that I think a lot of us struggle with, making the most of what we have. Life doesn't always deal us the cards we want. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough time, money, love, or even energy to do all the things you wish you could. And I get it, because I've been there too. But I've also realized that if you're always waiting for the perfect setup before you take action, before you live, before you enjoy what's right in front of you, you'll end up waiting forever. So this episode is about learning how to work with what you've got, even if it doesn't feel like much, and finding freedom, creativity, and joy in it. Let's start with acceptance. And I don't mean giving up or lowering your standards. I mean looking at your life honestly and saying, this is where I'm at right now. That's a hard thing to do because a lot of us live in the future. We're thinking, when I get that job, when I move out, when I meet that person, then I'll finally be happy. But the reality is, life is happening right now, not in the future. Acceptance is saying, this is my starting point, and from here, I can make the most of it. I'll give you an example from my own life. There were times when I wanted better jobs, better income, a better lifestyle, but what I had was just enough to get by. Instead of sitting in resentment, I had to learn how to stretch what I had. That meant making small joys out of the simplest things, like cooking a meal, or finding peace in walks, or finding comfort in the people around me. Those were the moments where I learned how to live, not just survive. Perspective is everything. Two people can live through the same experience, and one can see nothing but obstacles, while the other finds opportunity. Think of it like this. You and a friend both live in tiny apartments. You might feel trapped, like your space is too small, too limiting. Meanwhile, your friend sees the same place as cozy, easy to clean, and full of potential. The situation is the same, only the lens is different. When you change the way you look at things, the things start to change. Have you ever had the moment where you looked back at a tough time in your life when you thought you had nothing and realized that actually you had so much more than you gave yourself credit for? Maybe you didn't see it back then, but looking back, you recognize how much strength or support or growth you actually had in that moment. That's perspective. We tend to think that making the most of what you have means some big radical shift, but actually it's about small wins. Those little victories add up, even if you don't notice it right away. Let's say you can't afford a gym membership. Does that mean you can't take care of your health? No. You can go for walks, stretch at home, or find workouts online. Or maybe you want to start a podcast, but you don't have fancy gear. Guess what? You can start with your phone. That's exactly what a lot of people do. It's not about what you don't have, it's about what you do have and how you use it. For me, when I first started creating content, I didn't have the best setup. I didn't have all the answers, but I had my voice, my perspective, and a basic setup. And here's the thing, that was enough to start. And once you start, momentum builds. Small wins compound. Now let's talk about gratitude. Because making the most of what you have is really about being grateful for what's in your life. But let me be really clear. Gratitude does not mean settling. Some people think that being grateful means you stop wanting more, but that's not true. Gratitude says, I see what I have and I appreciate it, while ambition says, I'm still working towards something greater. The two can exist together. Think about it. You can be grateful for your job, even if it's not your dream job, while still applying to other opportunities. You can love your current circle of friends while still being open to meeting new people. Gratitude grounds you. It reminds you not to overlook what's right in front of you. Now here's the part that a lot of people miss. Sometimes limitations can actually bring freedom. That sounds weird, right? But think about it. When you have less, you're forced to be creative. You're forced to find solutions you wouldn't normally think about. Artists, musicians, entrepreneurs, they've all started with nothing. And some of the best ideas, some of the most powerful creations came out of those limitations. It's like cooking a meal with only what you've got in the fridge. You might not have every ingredient you want, but sometimes the most random combinations end up being the best dishes. Limitations forces us to stretch ourselves in ways we wouldn't even if everything was perfect. And sometimes that's where the magic happens. So here's the truth. Life will never hand you perfect circumstances. You'll always feel like you're missing something. But the question is, what are you doing with what you do have? Are you making the most of your time, your relationships, your space, your resources, even if they're not exactly what you imagined? Because here's the thing, when you stop waiting for the perfect and start living with enough, you begin to experience life in a whole new way. And maybe you'll realize you've actually had a lot more than you did. Thanks for tuning into Raw Thoughts from May. I'll catch you in the next episode.